Welcome everyone to Growth School. It's an amazing time again on Growth School, and I'm so delighted to be here again. I hope you're so prepared, you're supercharged, and you're getting ready for the value that will be shared tonight. So please, if you're watching this and you can hear me live, loud and clear, please do well to share the link of this video with your friends, share it on your WhatsApp status, share it on all the group you belong to, share it on Facebook, and let's get started on Growth School tonight. Let's get started on Growth School tonight. Okay. So tonight, like you must have seen, we're discussing on the energy of influence. So, we started out the influence series. We started discussing on the sacrifice of influence, the catalyst of influence 1 and 2. We talked about how to speak for influence, the tools and platforms for influence. We discussed on how you can advance your influence to sponsor the academic opportunity. So we've had the influence series starting from January, and now we're in March. Okay, the latter part of March. And today we'll be discussing on the energy of influence. Okay, please, let's get started. If you are friends that you know should be here, do well to invite them, do well to share the link with them, tell them to come learn the value and all you have been getting from Growth School. And tell you it's going to be really, really phenomenal tonight. Okay, I will have to bring a couple of science students back to class and then share a lot of very important points that will change your life. So are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Ready? Are you ready for Growth School? Are you ready to learn tonight? So if you're joining, please drop in the comments your name and where you're joining from. Drop in the comments your name and where you're connecting from. All right, so the energy of influence. The energy of influence. Now, when you hear the word energy, what comes to your mind? I know a lot of people must have heard like energy drink, energy booster, okay, energy pill. So when you hear the word energy, what comes to your mind? Let me see in the comments. When you hear the word energy, what comes to your mind? Okay. All right. So when you hear energy, I know those of you who did physics in school, you'd have been told what's the energy of this and this when they put mass and acceleration. And all of those energy. What comes to your mind when you hear the word energy? I know energy seems to come with the word force. Energy seems to come with the word push. Energy seems to come with the word power. So you hear the word energy. So this person has energy. This person is energetic. It means there is a power. There is a force beyond that person. There is a force that pushes that person. Or there is an innate ability that gives the person the power to carry out something. So let's look at it in this form, the energy of influence. Now, I need you to understand that there is, for everyone who you find to be influential, or let me put it this way, for anyone you find to be consistently influential, there is always an energy behind it. There is that energy that makes it happen. There's the energy that gives them light. There's the energy that gives them the ability, okay, and gives them the strength to be able to consistently become influential. And my goal tonight is to let you know some of those energy and how you can begin to apply them to your life so you don't just get to the point whereby you attain a point of influence and then you cannot move on anymore, but how you can consistently reinforce that energy and then you can grow to a greater level of influence. So you can be so influential. You know, the problem is a lot of people grow into influence, but they don't know how to stay influential. I'll say that again. A lot of people grow into influence, but they don't know how to stay influential. So the essence for the growth school session tonight is how you can realize, understand this energy, and then consistently thrive in your influential journey. So you see someone, you say, oh, that guy was influential in the past. What happened? He lost the energy. There was no longer energy to be influential. Okay, he lost the fuel. He lost that thing that could keep him consistently energetic. Now, I did a background check on the word energy. And energy, listen to this, energy has its root in the ancient Greek concept of energia. Okay, Energia. If you Google it, you will get this. Energia, meaning activity or operation. So, what's the activity of influence? When a person becomes influential, what activity keeps him influential? And you must understand that you operate at a level of influence dependent on the energy that backs you. You operate, the level of influence you are at is because of the energy that you are backed up with. When there is a greater energy, all right, there will be a greater influence. It's like the difference between someone who is more energetic than someone who is less energetic will be found in the things they can push, will be found in the things they can apply a force on. So the more you understand the concept of energy and apply it to being influential, the greater your influence remains. Okay? So you will not just be that person who is influential for a short time, but you grow consistently in your what? In your influence. You go consistently in your influence. Thank you, Alda, for joining. Okay, so you grow consistently in your influence. So you need an energy to back you up. You need an energy to keep you consistently influential. It's just like, for example, let me give you this instance. When a generator no longer has fuel, when a generator no longer has fuel, what happens? It stops working. It stops working. It stops working. You know, the fuel is a chemical energy that works with the mechanical energy to produce an electric, all right, output. To produce an electric output. I know some people are remembering now. How do you convert mechanical energy to electric energy? How do you convert kinetic energy to potential? You understand those things? You remember now. Come and pay me. You see why physics makes sense. The things you learned in school, they have a way to enable and to empower us in the daily living of our lives. So when fuel is missing, the generator stops working. Or when there is no engine oil in the generator, what happens? It knocks or it stops working. Why? Because there is no longer energy to consistently work. So how do you build, how do you increase, how do you consistently have the energy to grow and build your influence? So it has to do with the activity or the operation. Okay, energy, the activity or the operation. When someone lacks energy, what happens? The person becomes weak. The person becomes tired. The person cannot achieve so much. At a point in your life, when you find out that you seem discouraged, you seem unmotivated to keep pushing, you find out that you cannot consistently do the things you have always dreamed about, you need to check back whether you have not lost energy. Whether you have not lost energy. When you see someone running all the time, the person seems to be running. When energy is lost, what happens? They can no longer run at a greater intensity and height. They can no longer run at a greater intensity and at a greater speed. Why? Because energy is lost. Because there's no longer energy to keep going. There's no longer energy to drive on. There's no longer energy to push through. So when you get to a point whereby you understand that your influence is staying at a particular level, you can no longer grow beyond that level, or you are going downwards to what you used to be, you need to check back on the energy. You need to look back whereby you have not lost the energy, you have not lost the fuel, you have not lost the power, you have not lost the force that will keep you to accomplish as much result as you should. Some of you started as something so little. Maybe at a point you got discouraged, and at that instance you can no longer move on. Why? Because you have lost energy. You see people, there were people who at a certain instant they started a WhatsApp group, they were doing a lot of things, and at a point they lost the energy. I will speak about six I have here that I think you can begin to make use of if you really want to grow in your influence. Now, in the 17th century, energy began to be used in its modern sense of the capacity to do work. So when we say the energy of influence, it has to do with the capacity to be able to manage, sustain, and grow your influence. So the word energy has to do with capacity. Do you have the capacity to do it? For example, you cannot power a factory with I pass my neighbor generator. That generator will break down. It will not even work 1 second. You cannot power a factory with I pass my neighbor generator. You get what I'm saying? Why? Because the energy is too small to manage that. There are some of you right now, you want to be influential. You want to become a social media influencer. You want to become an influencer so great in the things that you do. But yet your capacity is too small for the numbers you want to influence. You need to increase your capacity if you want to see your influence grow. So energy has to do with the capacity. There's a measure of intensity, a measure of labor, a measure of capacity you need to grow to be able to manage that instance. That's why it's so important to grow other than just dreaming in your mind. Other than just coming to a point of infatuation that, oh, in the next 2 months, I'm going to become influential. I'm going to have 2 million followers. Really? Do you have the capacity to manage that level of influence? For some of you right now, you don't understand what it means. You will get to a point where you can no longer eat anything you just want or be anywhere dependent on the level and the capacity of influence you have gathered. Okay, so you need to grow, you need to build into that level. So when we talk about the energy, we are talking about what is your capacity. So energy, the capacity to do what, the capacity to be able to grow in that level of influence. Right now, some of you should just take the things you're doing right now and utilize it to grow yourself to the influence that God is bringing you into. But instead, you are daydreaming and say you are waiting until you have the ability to speak to 1,000 people. You are waiting for the time when your book is going to go around to 10,000 people, when you have not built the capacity to manage even 50. So energy grows in perspective. For example, you see a young guy, maybe when he was living in a face me, I face you house, he could have a I pass my neighbor generator. And it was enough to accommodate what he was doing. It was enough to accommodate charging his phone. It was enough to accommodate getting a fan, maybe a standing fan to manage him. But when he went into oh, sorry, rapture has not happened. Sorry for that break. I'm still here. Because some people say, I've raptured happened. Rapture has not happened. I'm still here. Okay. If rapture happened, I would have gone. You won't see me saying welcome back. So welcome back. Sorry for that break in transmission. So we talk about capacity. So I was talking about the instance of the young man I passed my neighbor generator in a my PCO house, a single room. When it grew, maybe it got a flat, maybe a 2-bedroom flat, 3-bedroom flat. At that level, the I pass my neighbor generator can no longer accommodate his new level. He's growing. Eventually, if he moves to a duplex, he needs a mechanical generator. Why? Because he has now grown to a level where what? Where he needs to grow. He needs to grow in his capacity. Why? Because his influence have gotten to that point. Okay. Now, how many of you have heard about the law of conservation of energy? I posted something related to that on my Facebook. I think that was yesterday or today. How many of you have heard of it? If you have heard of it, let me see in the comment section. The law of conservation of energy. We will know those who actually were paying attention in physics class. Let me just see you say jollof, jollof, jollof. Just type jollof if you have heard of, okay? If you have heard of the law of conservation of energy. I want to bring a lesson from it very quickly. So thanks for all those who are just joining. If you're joining, please, you can type your name and where you're joining from. Okay, your name and where you're joining from. So the law of conservation of energy says that, how of you want to hear? You want to hear Expo? Alpha. Those of you that had A1 in physics, how come you don't know? All right, the law of conservation of energy says that energy is neither created nor destroyed. Do you remember now? Oh yeah, pay me, pay me. I'm reminding you of your physics class. Pay me. Ushers, can you go around and collect offering for reminding people what they did in physics? All right. So the law of conservation of energy says that energy is neither created nor what? Nor destroyed. But instead, it is transformed from one form to the other. Do you remember now? So in an isolated environment, energy is neither created nor destroyed. Now, how does this apply to the energy of your influence? The truth is, there are lots of you right now, you desire to be influential. You long to accomplish a lot of things, to be profitable, to grow income, okay, to become brand ambassadors, okay, to accomplish things, to push out things, and people will flock to it. But you know what? Right now, lots of your energy is not invested into becoming that. And you don't seem to understand that the energy you have, it's not created, is not destroyed, but it's going to be transformed into something new. It's going to be transformed into something else. So right now, every day, you cannot do without watching a particular program. I don't want to mention some of those reality programs and all of those things. And you are not aware that the energy that should have been invested into your influence, trying to build yourself in writing, trying to improve your speaking, trying to improve your mind, trying to improve your writing, trying to improve your social networks, trying to improve on all of the catalysts of influence, they are invested into things that don't seem to add into that goal. And I will tell you that this is the secret behind people who write a lot of goals on the 1st of January of each year. And when they get to the last day of that year, they are not able to accomplish any of it. Or maybe if they do, they achieve just 5%. Why? Because your energy is neither created and is not destroyed. Instead, it's transformed into one form to the other. Used to becoming better, into accomplishing worthy goals, seem to be invested into things that are dumb. I'll say that again. They seem to be invested into things that are dumb. Wow. Welcome so much, my brother. Olusegun Benjamin. Nice to have you. Nice to have you. Oh, you say you're not a science student. Thank you, Olusegun Benjamin from Lagos. I'm so delighted to have you here. Okay, so do you get my point now? So, you put your energy into the areas you want to get results. And this is my counsel. When you look at certain areas of your life, when you look at certain aspects of your life that seem not to be making as much result as you long to, maybe it's your financial life that is not doing so much, it means that you are offering no energy or less energy into that area. The moment you begin to channel energy into it, the form of that area will begin to yield certain results. Why? Because energy is neither created nor destroyed. If you find out that it's your career life that is not making progress, you need to channel energy into it. It's becoming weak, and the result is showing for it. Why? Because there's no into it. So the energy of influence. So energy is neither created nor destroyed. The place you invest your energy into will determine where you will get results. There are people who make lot of declarations. Listen, I know you've heard a lot of things that life and death are in the power of the tongue. Amazing. But beyond using your tongue, because your tongue is also produces energy to certain area. Okay, there are certain other things you must do to enforce energy into that area. Like, okay, studying, like learning, like going for events, like becoming more exposed, becoming more aware. By doing those things, you are increasing energy in those areas. Right now, you are wondering and you're thinking in your mind. You're thinking in your mind and saying, what's the reason why I am so religious? I'm so religious, but I seem not to have as much money as I should. It's because where your energy goes into is where your result comes from. Wow. Is someone getting insight? Are you getting insight? Are you getting insight? So energy is powerful. When energy is lost in an area, the result becomes minimal. The result becomes minimal. Why don't you, have you not seen students that when they begin to put so much of effort, so much of interest into the academics, they study, they break through obstacles, they are willing to go to class, they are willing to do a lot of things, all for that break in transmission. Welcome back. All right. So we're talking about capacity, okay, and how people need to grow in order to become what they ought to be. Okay, they need to grow. So as you want your influence to grow, the energy you build must also grow. The energy you build must also grow. The energy you build must also grow. Very important. Okay. So you have to, the law of conservation of energy says energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It may be transformed from one form to the other form, but the total energy of an isolated system remains constant. Okay, that's where I stop. Now, I wrote down here that energy is a driving force. It is what fuels a thing. Like I said about a generator. A generator dies when there is no longer energy, when there is no chemical energy. All right? It does not enforce, it does not empower the mechanical energy. Why? Because energy seems to be lost. Because energy seems to be lost. Thank you. Sorry for that break in transmission, network issues. Okay. Now, so I said energy is a driving force. It is what fuels a thing. So your influence needs the fuel of energy to consistently grow. Your system needs the fuel of energy to consistently grow. How many of you have noticed that when the fuel is small in your generator, in your generating set, there is a sound it begins to make. No, 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 no. Before you know it is trying to give you sign like, oh, this thing will soon finish. You know what? Some people they'll still go there, they'll go and bend it again. They'll now bend it. It will now work for a while. It goes down. Now, you must always begin to understand and receive signals when your influence is speaking to you. You know, there's always that signal, just like generating set will give you a signal when the fuel is now already low. Why? Because if you wait for it to die, it may cause more problem than good for you. And that's why you find out that if you cannot maintain the audience that you are influencing, it will get to a point whereby they will channel attention to other people. And people don't seem, I've said this before, that people are not loyal. I'll say it again. People are not loyal to you. They are loyal to your gifts and value. People are not loyal to you. They are loyal to your gifts and values. People are not loyal to you. They are loyal to your gifts and value. And this is more reason why you must pay attention to what really matters, develop and work on what really matters if you want to be better at the things that you do. So don't focus on the non-essential things to the point that you then lose the influence that you seem to be building. When a mechanical element lacks energy, it wears and tears. I wrote that down. I remembered an event that happened in my previous house where I was staying. Okay, my former house where I was staying before I relocated. I was told to come help out. You know, this generator that always all this diesel generator. So I was told to come help to start it. Eventually, you know, it works. You know, it takes force to roll and wind it. Eventually, the generator worked, and after some minutes, we just found out that this thing started going down. It was silent. And we tried starting it again. When we were trying to wind it, that's how the thing just hooked. It was now so hard that we could not wind and start again. Later on, when the engineer was called, they just said the engine has knocked. That we did not check the engine oil, and for that reason, the generator knocked, and it could no longer be used until they worked on it and repaired it. Now, I now remember this instance when, you know, the generator of my late mom had issues and all of that. They said maybe they didn't check the oil and the engine knocked. What they had to do was to replace the engine so that they could get power again. Now, right now, the problem for many people is that they are trying to push their influence. They are trying to push it. oh, this influence must come higher by force, and they are doing everything, praying and doing all of those things. But they are forgetting that the engine, what has happened? It has snuck. It now begins to wear and tear. There is no smoothness. When you begin to realize that there seem to be a struggle. Okay, you need to do so much of things, and yet you are not getting that result. It's simply telling you that what the engine has knocked. The engine has knocked, or there is no longer oil. There is no longer oil. The grease, okay, the engine oil to make it easy for you to start and to begin to build and to be better is no longer there. And this is why you must not joke with energy. Don't just say, oh, energy, I can do it. Influx is fine. I can. And that's why lots of people are putting so much of effort. Some people are buying courses. Some people are doing a lot of things. They are running Facebook ads, putting all of those efforts, and yet it still seems that you are not as influential as you desire. Why? Because the engine don't knock. Let me say it in the Nigeria lingua. The engine don't knock, and when the engine knock, there's not so much you can do. So you must be willing to you must be willing to engineer it so that the influence can grow. Now, let me give you a top secret. Whatever you were doing previously that brought you to this measure of influence, don't let it go. That may be the energy secret that you need to continue with. You know, the problem right now is some of you are trying to be like other people. You're trying to do what they're doing. Yes, sorry everyone. Network has been an issue. Yeah, thank you, Older. Oh, it's serious, you know. All right. So, like I was saying, energy. What was I saying? What was I saying? Okay. So I said when a mechanical element lacks energy, it wears and tears. Yes. So there would be a mechanical knock when the machine stops working. So when you begin to realize that you're putting lots of effort and you seem not to be getting as much result as you should check up if you're putting in as much energy as you should. So don't lose the machine of your uniqueness and authenticity to the point that you grow to a level and feel like they are no longer important. For some of you, it's the strength and advantage of, okay, your social interaction, the ability to get so interested with people. For some of you, it's your excellence. For some of you, it's your deep power of creativity. For some of you, it's your speaking prowess. Don't get to a point and say those things are no longer important. They may be your secret fuel, okay? They may be your secret energy that would yield you the result of your consistent growth. All right, so that's it for tonight, everyone. We hope to do this again next week. And in the next available opportunity that we may have, we'll be talking about the different fuels. I have about 6 of them here, which I hope to talk about the physical energy, the mental energy, the relational energy, the financial energy, the attitudinal energy, the spiritual energy. So we'll share about them in our next growth school next week. I hope next week is not Easter yet. Um, let me check my calendar. Let me check my calendar. Next week, Wednesday is 5th. Okay, that's some few days to Easter. So we'll meet again next week. Where possible, we'll be having a guest you would see in the promotional material. If not, I would come up and then wrap up this session of growth school. Okay, this session on the energy of influence in our next growth school session. So it's just going to be some days to Easter, and then we get it on from there. So be ready, be prepared. I'm hopeful I would have sorted out the issues of the internet and the likes, and then we can go on from there. I hope you got value. I hope you got value tonight. I hope you got value tonight. It has been an amazing, splendid, and so phenomenal time with you. So I'll be sharing with you the different energies, the different energy of influence, and then you go out to use them. Till I come your way again, remain exceptional, be the best you can be, and keep changing your world. Cheers.